You're at the halfway point in your life. In your 30s or reaching your 30s, single, lonely, no purpose, just drifting through life. And the last thing you want is to get to your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s to have the biggest wake-up call, realizing that you lived a life filled with regret. You were just existing, you weren't living, and you were living a very unfulfilling life. And I want to help you change this because I personally have been in your position before. 2 years ago when I went through a rock bottom period in my life, I was 34 years old and I managed to change my life completely around. And what really scared me was visualizing that next chapter of my life, me reaching my 40s, my 50s, my 60s, living a life filled with regret, being stuck in a job that I didn't like or doing something that I wasn't passionate about, living a very unfulfilled life. And that absolutely scared me. And I did everything in my power to rebuild my life, rebuild my character, and find that purpose. And that's what I want to help you do. I want to help you ultimately find your purpose, because if we don't have purpose as men in life, we just end up drifting and we live a very miserable and lonely existence with an empty void inside, always pleasure chasing, seeking comfort through vices. And we must change this around. So I'm going to share exactly what worked for me. I'm going to help you build that purpose. I've made a lot of videos talking about purpose and how you can obtain your purpose as a man. But I wanted to do a whiteboard presentation where I can show you in detail how you can go about it, because it's a lot more easier than you think and it's not so complicated. And this was something that I really struggled to find in life. However, once I found it, I found out what actually got me to building my purpose as a man. And that's what I'm going to describe in this video, or this is what I'm going to go through in today's video. So let's get through it. Now, stay with me here because I'm going to go through the 4 steps to actually obtaining your purpose as a man. But let's talk about firstly your daily habits, okay? You're right here at this stage in life, right? That halfway point. And your daily habits has essentially created the character that you are today. If you're not happy in life, you're exactly where you need to be. And I don't mean that with any disrespect, but essentially you've built the life that you're in currently right now. So if you're not happy with this, if you've got no purpose, your daily habits is going to be your seeds to growth. Because think about it, if you've got the wrong daily habits, that will then lead to building the wrong momentum or negative momentum. Once you have that negative momentum, your identity and your beliefs are completely ruined. And that then causes you to live an unfulfilling life. So we need to change it around, okay? So what you essentially need to do is focus on the right daily habits. As I mentioned earlier, it is the foundation. This is your seeds to growth. Without this, without your daily habits, you'll never find your purpose. Without the right daily habits, you'll never end up finding your purpose. So what you need to do is you need to firstly clear the path. Okay, what I mean by that is this. If you've got any vices in the way, anything to ruin your ability to walk that path to discovering your purpose or building your purpose, having those doors open up in your life, you have to get rid of any weaknesses. That's step number 1. So any junk food, any porn, alcohol, weed, whatever it might be, you need to remove all these substances for your life. There's no way that you're going to get from here to here without removing completely all these vices that are keeping you stuck. Because these vices essentially are the devil. The devil's trying to put a hold on you. And as long as the devil's got a hold on you, he's going to make sure that you drift through life, keeping you stuck with your vices, whatever your emotional crutch might be, whatever you're escaping. So you need to give up those vices, okay? That's the first step. Now, what you must do is you must wake up early, okay? You must be super intentional with the time you wake up, because let's face it, you spend, let's say, 8 to 10 hours at work, maybe more, maybe a bit less. But essentially, when do you have time to focus on yourself? When you finish work, you're more than likely tired, you've got low frequency. So you want to then make sure that you're very intentional by waking up early and having a personal development routine. Okay, this personal development routine is going to allow you to be mentally, physically, and spiritually aligned. That's what you need to do. You need to focus on yourself. This is the time to get yourself right. So when your mind is right, your world becomes right. And think about it. You wake up early, super intentional. You set up the right daily habits, which then accumulates the right daily wins. And then the remaining chapter of your day, just ends up being positive. You start the day with a positive mental attitude and you just keep on stacking more and more wins as your day progresses. So what that does is it gives you a form of self-respect because you feel good about yourself. You were very intentional. You're like, yes, I could have chosen to sleep in, but I chose to get myself right mentally, physically, and spiritually. Now the internal operating system feels good. You feel good and you start to respect yourself. So you're in a better mood. You're in a better frequency state. And when you're in this higher frequency state, you'll notice that your day becomes better. Your interactions with people become better. So make sure that you have the right daily personal development routine set up. So that's step number one. That's your daily habits, okay? So now we've planted the seeds to growth. Once we have the right daily habits, we've stacked up the wins, we're very consistent, we get up each and every day, super intentional, we've got no vices. That then takes me to the next step, or that takes you to the next step, which is the momentum, okay? So as I said earlier, when you have the wrong daily habits, it will build up negative momentum. What we want to do is build up positive momentum, okay? And this positive momentum comes from your daily habits, the positive daily habits that you have within your personal development routine. So what we need to do is we need to focus on this, okay? Because when we build up the right momentum, we start to feel better about ourselves, okay? We're more disciplined, we've got more confidence, we're more productive, okay? Self-respect then leads to higher self-esteem. We've got more energy. Think about it. When you have the right momentum, you're building up the right traction, and that then sort of flows in life, and that will lead to the next step, which I'll get into shortly. But you must focus on just getting 1% better, okay? Don't have to overthink this. You just focus on getting 1% better, and you just accumulate that right momentum, okay? Get that wheel spinning. And once it starts spinning in the right direction for you. So momentum is key. Positive momentum is key. That then will give you more clarity, okay? And at this point, when you start to, let's say, stay consistent with your daily habits, building the right positive momentum, that fog starts to lift in your life, okay? That negative fog that you have where life just feels empty and dull, you start to actually feel better, okay? This happened not only to myself, but even my coaching clients that I help, the ones that stick to the consistency, they notice dramatic effects in that area, right? So they start to understand what momentum is. So when we start to build up the right momentum, that then will lead to your new identity and your new beliefs. Again, let's go back to the wrong daily habits. When we build up the wrong momentum, that will then form an identity that you're not proud of, okay? An identity that keeps you lost and stuck in life. So your belief system, at that point, if you've built up this negative momentum, it's gonna be like, I can't do this. I don't think I'm gonna meet another girl. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think I can go for a higher paying job, right? And it's gonna keep you stuck. So think about it. Again, going back to here, those wrong daily habits, those vices, what the devil wants you to stay using, or the devil wants to keep you addicted to, that's gonna affect your belief system, right? Your belief system is huge. Without your belief system, you're completely ruined. You will never get anywhere in life. You'll just be drifting through life. You'll be programmed by society. You'll be a puppet on a string. And that's how I used to be as well. My belief system was shot. I didn't think I was capable of doing anything in life because I had the wrong daily habits, the wrong momentum, which led to the wrong beliefs. Okay, and I formed an identity that I wasn't proud of. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I don't like this person that I see. And I know a lot of you, if you put your ego aside, you'd be like, you know what? I don't like the person I see in the mirror. I'm not talking just about your physical looks. I'm talking about the person that you've built up until this point. As I said, you're exactly where you need to be. So you need to shift this because if your belief system's shot, you're not going to get anywhere in life, okay? But let's go back to what I was saying. The positive momentum, which then leads to that newer identity or the new identity, this is where you recreate yourself. This is where you have a new belief system. Your mindset at this point starts to shift, okay? No more fear and scarcity, okay? You're not stuck in that bubble. What if things don't work out? You know, I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think I'm ever gonna meet a person. Or you might have had maybe a negative experience in life. Let's say you went through a breakup and you're like, I'm never gonna be able to find the right girl. There's no good girls out there. All women are masculine, right? This is a weak-minded person that has a scarcity mindset because it makes them feel better. So understand that your self-worth at this point, by having the right beliefs, by having that new identity, is on a totally different level, okay? You feel good about yourself, the right daily habits, the positive momentum, which then leads to the new identity with the new belief system. You go from that scarcity mindset to what's called a love and abundance mindset. And you start to change your belief system, okay? You start to be like, you know what? I've got this. I'm going to do this. Whatever your dream is, you'll bring that into fruition, okay? Whatever the career is that you want to get into, you'll actually go for it and you'll ace that interview because you've got a strong belief system. You're not just putting a mask on and pretending to the world that everything's okay, because deep down, your internal system is everything. If that's shot, your external world's going to be a representation of how you feel inside. So you understand this, when you have that belief system, I've got this. I'm not going to be focused on outcomes. I'm just going to enjoy the process. I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to show up, get myself right mentally, physically, and spiritually. There's no way that you're going to lose, right? And that's the reason why certain people are successful in life. They've got different things going for them, right? Whether it's a relationship, finances, lifestyle, family, whatever it might be. The reason for that is because of their belief system, right? They know that they can do it. They've got a can-do attitude, not a can't-do attitude. They don't participate in negative self-talk. They participate in positive self-talk. They actually feel that they're positive because they show up for themselves. You don't have to fake it. You actually feel it. This is your internal system, your internal dialogue. So when you are operating with this right set of beliefs, this right mindset, no more fear and scarcity, this is when you start to feel high frequency emotions, okay? The high frequency, that internal state, self-love, inner peace, gratitude, joy. You feel good about yourself. You feel like your life is on par with how you're feeling internally, right? That internal state is everything. If that internal state is off point, your external world is going to be off point, okay? You're never going to meet a beautiful woman. You're not going to be able to start a family. You're just going to keep drifting through life, being lonely, having empty voids. You have to change that internal system. So this is when you start to live a fulfilling life, okay? This is essentially where you start to tap into a fulfilling life. And understand this, all right? Once you form this identity, you've got the right belief system. This then takes us to the last point, which is living a life filled with purpose. So now I hope you can see how one thing leads to another, right? Step one, step two, step three, step four. Keep it very simple. The right daily habits. Keep going, show up every day, build up positive momentum. That will then form a new identity and a new belief system, a new mindset. That new identity, that new belief system is going to take you on to building or attracting that new life, finding that purpose, building that purpose as a man. Because now that path that you walked from having the right daily habits here to here, it becomes clear. And guess what happens? You start to attract a better career, better relationships, and you find what's called your calling, your purpose, whatever it might be. And your purpose can ultimately change. You can extend on your purpose. But the only way that you find your purpose when you think about it is being the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, and spiritually, as that sets the foundation. So going back here, once you start attracting the right career that you want to actually be in, something that you're passionate about, maybe it's even starting a business that you always kept talking about, right? But you keep procrastinating and putting it off. So this is where you start to attract this into your life. And this can go for different things, right? Career, your finances, all these other areas. But at the end of the day, if you're not that person that has the right internal state, that right belief system, you're never going to build that purpose as a man. You're going to just drift through life like a puppet on a string. And that was me. I was doing that for 10 to 15 years. Okay, I've been in this position before. So you can consume, hundreds and hundreds of self-improvement videos over and over again just to get that dopamine. Or you can literally watch this video, pay close attention to what I'm saying, apply what I've taught you, and then you can just get the results yourself. That's all it is. Don't have to overcomplicate it. The more consumption you put into your brain. Let's say you're watching so many self-improvement videos. One guy might say this, another guy might say this. To be honest, I leave everything very simple. I love simple. For me, simple explanations, simple understanding, and just simple application is the key to life. You don't have to overcomplicate it. That's why I don't use fancy words with the way I speak. I'm a very simple, straightforward person, and I speak genuinely to show you what exactly you can do. There's a new version of you waiting, right here. There's a new version of you waiting for you. But unfortunately, this is the problem. A lot of men are stuck here. They don't even make it to here. They build up the wrong momentum, the identity is ruined, they don't find purpose, and they just end up drifting. You just end up drifting through life. Looking at the time at work, going, damn, when's the day gonna finish? Go home, eat some junk food, some pleasure comfort, watch a bit of Netflix, watch some YouTube videos while you're eating or whatever it might be, and then you start to feel guilty because your daily habits are not congruent with your vision, with what you actually want in life. No one wants to be single, lonely, miserable, drifting through life. Doesn't matter how much money you earn. At the end of the day, if your life is not fulfilling, if that internal system is lonely, then you're never going to be where you want to be. You're not going to be able to create a fulfilling life. And that's what it's all about. You don't want to just be existing in the rat race, being controlled. You want to focus on building a life that you truly want, a fulfilling life, a life that's on your terms, doing something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy, having a loved one by your side to support your vision, to support that mission in life. Because you've got direction, you've got clarity. And this is so true, man. It's not difficult. A lot of people say, I can't find my purpose. How do I find my purpose? Here you go. Okay, I've made a lot of videos on this, but this is the first presentation that explains everything very clearly. And I promise you, if you follow the right daily habits, you will build a positive momentum, which will then form a new identity and belief system. And then you'll no longer be drifting through life. You'll start to attract a new life, a life filled with purpose. The path becomes clear. You will attract a better career, better relationships, and your calling will come. Okay, you'll find your why a lot more easier because you weren't able to see it before. You were mentally fogged up. Okay, you weren't able to even get to this stage. So that's why a lot of guys stay stuck here. Wrong daily habits, vices, poor mental health, overthinking, negative belief system. You'll never find your purpose that way. But now when you follow this method, go from step 1 to step 4 in the right way, trust me, the path will become clear. And this is how you actually start to find your purpose, create your reality that you truly want. And this is where you actually enjoy life. This is where you're not outcome focused. You're not selfish. You want to help other people, right? You have a genuine interest to help other people because you know what works now. And that's why I make these videos, because I know this 110% works. But majority of men have an application issue, not a knowledge issue. And they're not able to get from point A to point B. What if I told you I could help you recreate a new identity, be a new version of yourself? So you no longer have that empty void inside. You no longer feel lonely. You'll be learning from someone who's got the results. I've done this to myself. I help other guys do the same. So I can help you get there. All you need to do is just click the link down below. If you're serious, if you've got that fire inside for change, because I don't just accept anyone into my coaching program. I only want people who want to win in life. Okay, I don't want people that have egos or anything like that. But if you've got a burning desire to be like, you know what, I want to change my life around. I'm sick of my life. I don't like the direction that it's heading. All you need is someone to hold you accountable to get you the results. I'll give you the exact blueprint that worked for me in detail. I'll hold you accountable. And I'll be able to get you to that final destination. But again, just remember, your belief system will play a lot of tricks on you. Your ego might get in the way. You might think that you can figure everything out by yourself. But that's the thing. There's a lot of information out there. But if you were able to apply that knowledge, you'd be already where you need to be. You wouldn't be watching this video. So look, the help's there if you need it. Click the link down below. We'll see if we can work together. But other than that, look, if you're new to my channel and you like this genuine, real content, speaking from the heart, hit the subscribe button. It really helps me keep making more valuable content, just talking about things that I've overcome personally that I can help others with. And that's what it's all about, just giving back. So if you like the video, please give it a like. It always helps the algorithm. This is a very small channel and I want to grow this with the right audience. And please drop your comments down below, okay? If you're in a position right now where you're going through, being lost in life, drifting through life, maybe you like your job, but you feel empty, you've got vices, you've got no partner in your life, or maybe you're already in a relationship, but you're in a career that you don't enjoy, right? You're just drifting. Drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your side of the story. We can also help other men who are stuck in this problem as well. So look, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you got some sort of value from today's video. I tried to do my very best to explain everything in clear detail for you. All right, keeping it very simple and straightforward to understand. So yeah, look, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.